Hello and welcome to episode 148 on the From Impossible to Inevitable podcast. I am your host, Megan Bauer. Thank you so much for joining me today and pushing play on today's episode. Today, I don't want this to be a downer, but today I feel called to chat about endings. I'm in a place in my life right now where I am encountering several endings simultaneously, and they all have a different weight to it. They all have a different level of gravity, I guess, is a really good word for that. Right now, I'm in the process of losing a loved one. I am in the process of shifting my focus away from art and towards personal development as my daily focus, and not just personal development for me, but teaching and coaching and helping others in their journeys as well. We are about to close out the school year. As of this recording, today is May 28th, and this episode will go live on the 30th, I believe, the 30th of May. We will be about to close out our school year. And then in addition to that, my oldest is leaving elementary school and going into middle school. So I have four endings right now that I am working through and dealing with and moving through, going through these phases. And so I've got endings on my mind. I really do. And endings, we tend to shy away from endings. We don't really like endings. They tend to be really bittersweet, even when we know that they're coming, even when we're excited for summer to start, even though we're excited for middle school to start, even though I'm excited for this coaching chapter to start, even though we're excited for the new thing, we often have this bittersweet feeling about endings. And that's okay. That's really okay. I was telling my little yesterday because, she's ending kindergarten and she's going to go into first grade, and she's experiencing some endings as well, as is my older. And I told her yesterday, and I said this in front of my husband, Jake, I told her, I was like, however you're feeling is okay. Your feelings are okay. Whatever it is that you're feeling, that's okay to feel that way. And immediately, without skipping a beat, Jake was like, yeah, however you are feeling is okay. Talking to me, he was like, however you are feeling is okay. Do you hear that? Do you hear yourself? Because we can very easily get into this space where we feel wrong. We feel like, well, I shouldn't be upset that this is coming. Of course, my older daughter has been working towards going to middle school her entire life. Like, this is a natural progression. It's a natural next step. I shouldn't, quotes, be sad about it. I shouldn't have these feelings. And that's just not the case. Like, we get to feel how we're feeling. We get to be okay with feeling the bitter part of that bittersweet. We get to feel and grieve the loss of whatever ending it is that we are experiencing, whether it is something relatively minor, like the end of a school year, you know, or something that's a lot heavier, like losing a loved one. We get to allow ourselves the time and space to grieve the ending that we are experiencing. I have some questions though as we go through this process of kind of embracing the ending, because the endings are coming no matter what. It's not like you can choose. I mean, okay, you can choose some endings, but there's a lot of endings in life that you don't get to choose. I mean, I can put my kids in summer camps, but that doesn't mean that school year's not going to end. The school year is ending whether or not I'm ready. My daughter's going to middle school whether or not I'm ready. I don't get to choose that necessarily, but I do get to choose what it means to me. I can take the time to sit back and I can look at this and I can say, okay, I'm feeling really sad that my daughter's going into middle school. What does this mean to me? Why am I focusing on the sadness of this ending rather than the excitement of all of the new and all of the fun of middle school? Why am I making this choice? And I can ask myself, what does this ending mean to me? And whatever it means to you, whatever that answer is, that's okay. Don't make yourself wrong for that either. But once you know what you're making it mean, you can be like, is this what I want it to mean? And you can choose. If you don't like what it means to you, you can choose what you want it to mean to you. You can assign a different meaning to this ending. You can, instead of being like, this means my daughter's no longer a little girl, I'm like, I don't like that. I don't like that this means that she's no longer a little girl. I can assign a different meaning of like, she will always be my little girl. And this is such an exciting step in her journey of growing up. And this is something worth celebrating. She has literally worked her entire life for this moment to go into middle school. And that is exciting. And we can celebrate her and her achievement and her accomplishment rather than trying to keep her little. I think we can probably all think of a situation where you are growing and you are progressing and you are making changes in your life, and somebody in your life kind of wishes that you wouldn't. They kind of wish that you would just stay how you were. They kind of wish that you wouldn't make these changes. It's inconvenient to them. They don't like it, whatever it is. They don't like this new you. And that's stifling, right? That's like, okay, well, it's my life. I want to grow. I want to do something else. I want to be someone else. I want to continue on in my journey. And we don't want the energy of that person to hold us back, right? So this is the exact perspective that I want to take with my daughter. Of course, grow, grow and fly and develop and be your amazing self. And I can adjust what this means to me and how I feel about it on my side. And that brings me right into the next one. How do I feel about this? Most of the time, we have these feelings that we don't even really label. And then we just feel like this, we just feel in this funk. But once we can label it, we've got a little bit more power to change it. You're like, okay, my daughter's going into middle school. How do I feel? I feel old. I feel old. Okay, well, that's a choice. I can choose to feel old, or I could choose to be like, this is just where I'm at in my life. And there are always going to be people who are older than me, and there are always going to be people who are younger than me. And do I wish I was, you know, do I wish it was 10 years ago and I was, you know, however old I was 10 years ago? Do I wish I was in that stage of life? No, no, I do not. That was not ideal, you know, and we can take that perspective that way. So, how do we feel about it? How do we want to feel about it? And then choose to feel into those feelings. Because, like I said, endings are often bittersweet. And when we are feeling so down and heavy about an ending, it's because we're focusing on the bitter rather than the sweet. The sweet is there too. It really is. You just have to shift your focus. We have so much exciting things in our future with my oldest daughter going into middle school. We have so many exciting things. We have an exciting summer, right? Like we're not doing anything crazy, but we get to make our own plans. We get to spend the days how we want to spend them. We get to go to the pool. We get to go here or do this or whatever. We have more freedom this summer, and that's exciting. as I transition into coaching and focusing on development and helping people in their lives, there's so much exciting there as well. And it is scary to leave behind the art as my main focus. And it's really exciting to be in a place where I am 100% in, immersed in my passion and in helping people in the way that really is the most meaningful to me. And as I lose a loved one, I can focus on the fact that she won't be in any more pain. I can focus on the fact that, this is part of life, and I can focus on all of the good things that came from my time with her and all of the past together. I can focus on that sweetness of the experience that we had rather than the bitter of the loss. Right. So, as we look at that, we are thinking, what do I want this to mean to me? How do I want to feel about this? And then an ending, by definition, an ending, there's always a beginning. There's no, there's always another. Like, yes, this is ending, and you don't get the ending without the beginning. Like I said, we've got summer. What do I want to create now? What do I want to create for this summer with my girls? What do I want to create now? As I close my focus in my art, what do I want to create for my coaching and for helping people live better lives, build a bold delight? What do I want to do now? I can carry in things that I've done before, and I can create entirely new things. Beginnings have this like realm of possibility and opportunity and limitlessness almost. Even though we don't have anything crazy planned for summer, we don't have any big trips or anything, that doesn't mean we can't now plan one. That doesn't mean we can't just spend every morning at the pool. That doesn't mean we can't decide now what it is we want to create and then put all of our focus on creating that. And we get to make that choice. And that shifts your focus, right? That doesn't take away the ending. It doesn't take away the bitter, but it shifts you into the sweet. It shifts you into where we're headed and where we're going. And from there, this might seem a little bit backwards to you, but it doesn't feel backwards to me. It actually feels really natural. So as we shift our focus into the sweet, into the future, into the possibilities, into the opportunities, it lifts the heaviness of the ending. And from there, we can ask ourselves, how do I want to close this? How do I want to close this? With my daughter moving into middle school, one of the things that I really want to do is to create a little like postcard type thing. I haven't done it yet, but I will as we're coming up real quick on the end of school. But a little postcard type thing that shows her first day of pre-K 4 picture and her last day of 5th grade picture. And a thank you to all of the faculty and staff that have played a part in her journey. Going back to her preschool teachers who are still there all the way through her 5th grade teacher and all the administration and all of the specialist teachers, the art teachers, the music teachers, everyone who's still there. I want to express gratitude for their part in her journey, for their part in helping us get to where we are, for their nurturing all along the way. And that feels so good to close this chapter with her and where she is, to express this gratitude to them. And that feels really good. So when you're facing the ending, yes, ex- okay, let's go all the way back. When you're facing an ending, look at what it means to you, what you want it to mean to you. Look at how you're feeling about it, how you want to feel about it. Look at what you want to create from here. What does this new beginning look like? What do you want to do with this possibility and opportunity and this excitement that's before you. And how do you want to close this ending? And you don't have to do anything grand. I've had endings where it's just like, okay, here's a good analogy. You can have an ending where you package it up beautifully, right? You put it in the box, in the mental box, and wrap it up beautifully and you put this gorgeous silk bow on it, and there it is. It's all wrapped up, it's done, it's beautiful, it feels great. And you can have an ending where you literally throw it in a U-Haul moving box, tape it up, and say good riddance. That's a way to do it too. And I think some situations, the the beautiful silk bow is perfect and that feels great. And in some situations, the duct tape good riddance feels good and we're just getting it done and that's great too. So neither one is wrong. They're just choices based on what feels good, what feels right. So you get to close that however you want to. Just because I'm going to do some postcards or something for my daughter leaving elementary, I'm not really doing anything for my younger leaving kindergarten, right? Like she's still going to be there in that same building next year. We're just kind of moving on with that. Like, okay, see you next year. It's no big deal. I mean, it is a big deal, but it's not a big deal. It doesn't feel like it doesn't have the gravity and the weight that it feels like with my older moving into middle. And when she's at the point where she's moving into middle, of course, we will do the same thing and she will get that as well. So it's not that we don't care. That just really made it sound like I don't care at all. But it's just that her ending doesn't have as much weight to it. Going into first grade, it's just a little puddle jump. Whereas like moving into middle school feels a lot bigger. And it really is it's a much bigger difference. Anyways, so there you go. I want to close this with this idea so we've talked a lot about endings that just come, right? And I mentioned the one that I am choosing, though, where I'm turning my focus away from art and into coaching and into helping other people develop in meaningful ways. That is one I am choosing. I focused a lot on the ones that we don't necessarily choose because they're just kind of a natural progression of things. However, we get to choose endings sometimes. We get to choose to change careers or to move houses or to close friendships. We get to choose endings. And that's really scary sometimes. And we really resist that because we we're in this familiar comfort zone place and we don't want to, you know, we don't want to rock the boat. We don't want to make a mistake. We don't want to make a move and then realize that wasn't actually what we wanted to do and now we regret it and blah blah blah. And so we sometimes really fear endings and we really resist it. And you don't have to. That place of being in fear of making a change and resisting the change is still a choice. And I would invite you, before you even make any big changes, to go down the mental exercise of like, okay, let's say I made this choice and I decided on this ending. What does it mean to me? What do I want it to mean? How do I feel about this? What do I want to feel about this? What do I want to create now? And how do I want to close this? You can still go through those same questions before you've even done anything. And that will help you gain clarity on whether or not you even want to make that change, whether or not you even want to engage in that ending to create something new. It kind of opens up this space in your brain when you treat it as if something that you've already done and you're like, what now? Knowing that you haven't actually done anything yet. So you still have the choice before you. And then if you decide that the ending is something that you want to engage in, then just do it. Don't hem and haw over it forever. Just do it and get going, because the longer you just sit and deliberate, even when you know deep down what the best thing to do is, the longer you just sit and deliberate, the heavier it's going to feel and the harder it will be. So engage endings, because beautiful beginnings come from that. Beautiful opportunities and exciting possibilities come from that. And you can feel into those possibilities and opportunities, whether or not you're engaging the ending or it's just a natural flow of things. That's a choice that you always get to make. Thank you for joining me today on this episode. I am so grateful for you. Thank you for being a part of this journey. Until next time, bye for now.